The Tropical Cowboy had long been a proud member of a unique social group in Cairns known as the Big Bearded Bloke Society. It was an eclectic collection of rugged individuals, tradesmen, adventurers, and community leaders, men of wisdom, wit, and most importantly, impressive facial hair. They gathered regularly to support their community and share stories over frosty beers and hearty meals. The president of the group was none other than Nick, affectionately referred to as Saint Nick by the members. Nick, with his larger-than-life personality, snow-white beard, and jolly demeanor, had earned his title with pride. He was a man who radiated warmth and goodwill but carried a stern resolve when things got serious. One balmy evening, the society gathered in their usual meeting spot, an old timber shed on the outskirts of town. Inside, the glow of lanterns illuminated the room filled with laughter and the clink of beer mugs. The Tropical Cowboy sat at a weathered wooden table recounting tales of his battles with Gojira 13 and encounters with pirates. But soon the jovial atmosphere quieted as St. Nick called for attention. "Boys, we've got a problem," St. Nick began, his booming voice silencing the room. "Something evil's happening in Cairns, something downright monstrous." The Tropical Cowboy leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowing. "What kind of problem, Nick?" St. Nick sighed, tugging thoughtfully at his beard. "There's a crime spree terrorizing this town. Someone, or something, has been breaking into houses in the dead of night, stealing Christmas presents right from under the trees. The kids are waking up to nothing but tears on Christmas morning." The room murmured with concern, but the Tropical Cowboy sensed there was more. "Who's behind it?" he asked. St. Nick's expression darkened. "The Grinch." At the mention of the name, the room fell silent. A chill seemed to sweep through the shed. "The Grinch?" said the cowboy, his brows furrowing. "I thought that was just an old fairy tale." St. Nick shook his head solemnly. "No tale, my friend. He's real, and nastier than you'd think. This monster's been sneaking around Cairns, breaking in, stealing from families, and leaving nothing but despair in his wake. Word is he's got an army of mischievous little gremlins helping him out. I need someone to put an end to this madness, and that someone, cowboy, is you." The Tropical Cowboy crossed his arms, his rugged face set in determination. "Sounds like he's got it coming." St. Nick grinned. "That's the spirit. I knew I could count on you, mate, but you might need some backup. Bring the Ox and Gibbo. This job's big, and you'll need all the help you can get." The Tropical Cowboy wasted no time. He gathered his closest allies, the Ox, whose mechanical strength and knowledge of the land were unmatched, and Gibbo, a man whose precision with fishing lures was rivaled only by his dead-eye aim with a fishing rod. "We're going to track this Grinch down," the cowboy explained as they huddled over a map of Cairns spread out on the hood of a dusty Land Cruiser. "According to St. Nick, the houses hit so far form a pattern. He's targeting neighborhoods on the edge of town, places where folks are asleep early and don't hear him coming." Gibbo nodded, stroking his stubble thoughtfully. "He's clever, but he won't outsmart us." The Ox cracked his knuckles, "And when we find him, we'll teach him a lesson he won't forget." Under the cover of night, the trio set out in the cowboy's trusted ute, loaded up with lanterns, ropes, and the Tropical Cowboy's custom Colt Python 357 Magnum. The Ox rode shotgun, his tool belt jingling with every bump in the dirt road while Gibbo kept watch from the back. The houses along the outskirts of Cairns sat dark and silent, the air heavy with tension. The Tropical Cowboy's instincts told him the Grinch was close. Suddenly, Gibbo pointed into the distance. "There, movement near that house." The cowboy cut the headlights, rolling the ute to a stop. Through the darkness, they could see a hunched green figure slinking toward a window, followed by a swarm of small, goblin-like creatures carrying sacks. The Grinch. The Tropical Cowboy grinned. "Time to move, boys." The Grinch and his gremlins were mid-heist when the Tropical Cowboy and his crew struck. "Oi!" the cowboy barked, stepping out of the shadows with the Colt Python in hand. "You're done, Grinch." The Grinch spun around, his wicked yellow eyes narrowing. "What's this? A couple of do-gooders here to spoil my fun?" His voice dripped with malice. The gremlins hissed and swarmed toward the trio, but Gibbo unleashed a barrage of well-placed fishing rod shots, knocking the little fiends back. The ox, wielding a giant wrench like a club, charged into the fray, sending gremlins flying with every swing. The Grinch growled, baring his jagged teeth, and lunged for the cowboy. But the Tropical Cowboy was ready. With agility that belied his rugged frame, he dodged the attack and delivered a haymaker that sent the Grinch sprawling. "You're not stealing from these families anymore," the cowboy said, standing tall over his fallen foe. The Grinch snarled and tried to scramble away, but the cowboy fired a shot into the air, a sharp crack that froze him in place. "You're done, mate." With the Grinch subdued and his gremlins scattering into the night, the Tropical Cowboy, Gibbo, and the Ox collected the stolen presents and returned them to St. Nick. The Big Bearded Bloke Society wasted no time organizing a secret mission to get the gifts back under the trees before Christmas morning. The next day, the people of Cairns awoke to a miracle. Smiles replaced tears, and joy filled the air. News spread of the mysterious heroes who saved Christmas, but no one knew their names, only that justice had been served. Back at the shed, St. Nick raised a glass to the Tropical Cowboy. "Mate, you've saved Christmas. The Big Bearded Bloke Society and all of Cairns owe you big time." The cowboy smiled and clinked mugs with his friends, all in a day's work. As the sun set over the town, the Tropical Cowboy leaned back in his chair, savoring the quiet moment. He knew the world was full of monsters and mysteries, but for now, Cairns was safe, and Christmas was back where it belonged. And somewhere in the shadows, the Rebecca Protocol watched, knowing the legend of the Tropical Cowboy had grown once more.
On the hearts he chose to dark. Oh, why did you steal our cheer? Leave us in this holiday fear. North Queensland.
All information provided by the Rebecca Protocol.
Like and subscribe.